Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger. Okay, so yesterday I was, early yesterday, I seen Courtney Michelle, of all people, and she gave a brief, short about Black Panther, about Black Panther 2, the movie. And I was like, oh, wow, this seems like feminist bullcrap, like she was saying. So I was like, okay, I should cover this. Let me go and see the movie. Now, whenever you see BL in the title, that means the first word boot and the last one is the appendage that is not the arm. Let's just say that. I don't want to say how exactly I seen it, but I'm not going to give money. Notice about me. I don't give money to feminism. I want it to fail. I want this new push that they do where they're just championing the women over men and they're taking stuff that men traditionally like and inserting feminism in it with hopes that they attract women into the thing that men like. I want it to fail. What they're doing is they're taking stuff that has a strong male following, like science fiction, like Star Wars, like action, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they saying, okay, I'm going to put all my feminism into this. And I know since the people have been watching Star Wars literally for 40 years, that they're not going to stop, except they are stopping. And it's sad. You're killing yourself and you're killing a very lucrative genre. You know, what they are after is nerds. They're after nerds. They're trying to take nerds and make them into feminists. And they're also trying to get feminists into nerd stuff. Let me tell you something. It's not going to happen. The people who don't like Star Wars, Star Trek, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they're not going to watch it simply because a woman is in it. I actually asked my cousin that when I seen pieces of Obi-Wan Kenobi and their obvious promotion of the black woman. They're like, okay, let's take Star Wars and let's just insert this random black woman. And we're going to get into the whole random black woman thing. And make her an inquisitor and blah, 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 blah. So I says, and she's black. I says, cousin, I know you don't watch Star Wars. I know you all your life. You don't watch Star Wars. Is there anything Star Wars can do to make you watch it? Meaning, no matter how many black women they insert into it, will you ever watch it? And she was like, no. The same way, there's black men in football. I'm not going to watch that. There's black men in basketball. I'm not going to watch that. It's belittling that they think that you can just insert a black person into something and black people will watch it just because that black person is in it. It's kind of it's really like they think that you're stupid. If you don't watch Seinfeld, you're not going to watch it if one of the members of if Elaine was black. And if you like Seinfeld, you're not going to watch it more because they had that black lawyer. You're just not. So that is Disney's marketing plan, marketing strategy. They're trying to go for this, include the female. They're trying to feminize everything. And it's way too overt. It's not subtle. Like when they wanted to make Star Wars multicultural and then Lando Calrissian came out of nowhere, Lando Calrissian made sense. And it wasn't overdone. Okay, so back to the movie. I'll probably do a second one because I want to watch things twice. I want to watch things twice before I give a review. I planned on watching it this morning, but I slept in. So it's very early here. But I watched it the one time. And crap. Here. Let me go here. Okay, there we go. All right. So, by the way, a lot of people who are in the Matrix at present are no longer channel members. If you received an email or if you are no longer a channel member, please consider re-signing up. I apologize. I made some changes to my account and a lot of channel members are gone now. All right. And the Matrix doesn't reflect that. All right. So, where do I start? Well, I thought that if they were smart, they would make the movie take place within the 5-year blip. So I get that their star cast member, Chadwick Boseman, may he rest in peace, has died in real life. I don't get why they aren't replacing his character, who is largely masked, with another black man. I don't get that. They have done it in the past. Ed Norton, what's the name? Terrence Howard. They have done it in the Avengers series in the past. They just, unfortunate circumstances caused them to change actors, and they did. And these are people who are main Avengers characters. They did what they had to do. But it does seem as if Disney looked at this as an opportunity to say, okay, now let's make the movie feminist. Let's feminize the movie completely. Let's just like, okay, we got rid of the main man. Now let's insert something that's just so different. Let's use those words. There's something that's just so different. So their excuse was, okay, you know something? We're just going to kill him off. You remember how Iron Man died in a blaze of glory, sacrificing himself for the sake of Thanos, ridding the universe of a second Thanos? You remember that? This was nothing like that. They just gave him some mystery disease. Oh, by the way, this is a spoiler movie review. They gave him some mystery disease that the Wakandans, the people who use technology to heal a guy, to heal that white guy instantly. He got shot in the spinal cord and they took the bullet out and healed the wound. And he said, bullet wounds don't heal that quick. He said they do here, and it's not through magic. It's through technology. And she was real smug about it, but she couldn't cure the king of Wakanda for whatever disease he had that they don't even mention. Like, it would seem as if Wakanda has the everything disease, or excuse me, the everything cure. But they just don't have a cure for whatever it is the king had. Also, she was trying to synthesize the heart-shaped herb, the thing that was burned by Killmonger. But the thing is that they had 6 years to do it. And they never really explained why they didn't have a new Black Panther in the whole time after the blip. Like, nobody rose to the ranks and said, okay, so somebody's got to fill this void. Nope, they just stood around with no heart-shaped herb and no Black Panther for the duration of the 5-year blip. And then the time after, when he came back and he died. So just start off a generic death. And then they had this funeral. It was supposed to be this big, elaborate affair. Everybody was wearing white because they just want to say our culture is different than Western culture because we are so much cooler than them. So they did that whole charade, and afterwards the coffin, or excuse me, the plane came and beamed the coffin up and took it away to wherever. Now, the interesting thing about Wakanda is they always have just enough hovercrafts. Here's what I mean by that. Like, it seemed like in the first movie, they only had three hovercrafts. They only had three people that's capable of flying. Their entire Air Force included three hovercrafts. Even though they're this, grand empire that could take over the world if they wanted to, it does seem as though their Air Force is lacking. But when it comes to funerals, they just have all of them to spare. But we're gonna get into the Wakanda military in a little bit. So that happened, and then afterwards they showed the Queen of Wakanda, who in any other monarchy, aristocracy or whatnot, she would be considered the dowager queen, meaning like she is the mother of a dead queen. People like that typically don't become the actual rulers of a nation. They're more like kind of like Joe Biden's mother, really don't have any power or anything like that. But they decided to give her all the power. Now, you remember how back in the day in the first episode, people challenged, like there was a challenge day and there was a challenge ceremony. Apparently, after 5 years, they didn't have nothing like that. They didn't have nothing like the challenge day. It was just like, okay, you're the queen. It's not worth fighting for because if all I have to do to be the most powerful person in the world is beat up an old lady, I'm not going to beat up an old lady. So I'm just going to just let this happen, is essentially what happened there. So she became queen of this great nation, and then the UN addressed her. And the UN addressed her in a very interesting way. Hit the like button. They basically said, bitch, where's my vibranium? They basically were saying, give me my effing vibranium. Your husband, for whatever reason, promised me vibranium. Oh, and we're going to get into the reason that he promised them vibranium. And they said that you are lacking. You're lacking in the stuff that you're supposed to give us. Just like the homeless people, when you give them free money, they just turn around and say, yeah, you're lacking. And then they showed this interesting scene where the Navy SEALs or whomever, some white special ops group was going in to steal a vault of Wakanda's vibranium, but they weren't actually in Wakanda. Oh no, no, no. No. They weren't in Wakanda doing this. They were in a vault that they had of vibranium that was outside of Wakanda. It looks like it was stored to give to them, but instead these people wanted to steal it. So they come in, and then the Dora Minaj protected the vibranium. Now, that would be the equivalent to having the Secret Service work at Fort Knox. The Dora Minaj, your job is to protect the king or whoever is wearing the Black Panther suit or whoever is sitting on the throne. Your job isn't to to protect the vibranium. That's really the Black Panther's job. And since he wasn't there, that I guess something like that would fall to the military. You know, those guys with the spears and the cloaks and the shields and stuff like that. Those guys who don't get any play in this movie whatsoever. Those guys who was fighting off Thanos' army, hit the like button. With the spears that shoot lasers. Yeah, those guys have too much testosterone to be mentioned in this movie. You couldn't show those guys defending the vibranium against the Navy SEALs or something. No, you have to show the women who should be defending you. So, what do you have so far? You have a queen and a bunch of ninja bitches. So far in the movie, that's what you have. You have like this whole thing, nation of active black females. So she was right so far. According to Michelle, was right so far in that regard. They had to show that off at all costs. All right. So they defended, and then they capture all of these white guys, and you know they do a sign that their spear or something, and then they all just kneel because they want to show black women dominance over white men. They just have to show that. So they're like, dun, dun, and all of them kneel. They get on one knee at the command of these superior spear wielding black women. That is just a ego boost. Now, it is a shame at what they think that black women want to see. Like, oh, we want to see that. We want to live in this fantasy where we just beat white men's ass. You know, instead of for having like a princess fantasy or a princess fetish or whatnot, I want to be the princess. Instead, we want crap like this to happen. So, very telling about what they're looking for. You know, and then the queen aspect. So it really started to get very, very, very feminist. So move to the next scene, right? Oh, and by the way, as a in addition to that, they add a new member to the whole baldhead bitch brigade. And she was a chick that you might see in the Netflix series Bubblegum. And she's like, I want to say naturally bald, but she is a African woman living in England. I don't know her name, but she's always been bald in every movie that she did or every TV series that she did. She's just been like a dark-skinned, bald-headed black chick. And they said, hey, you look good bald, because she does look good bald. Why don't you join the Dory Minaj? It really is a useless thing, but we're going to make you into a standout character. And we're going to give you like these two lightsaber knives and stuff. To which she said, okay, I'll do that. And she did. And she was just, kung fu fighting and kicking Navy SEAL ass and shit. All right. So next scene, they are white people are on a boat somewhere in the Atlantic or Pacific. They were on a boat and they came across some vibranium, and then they started to drill for it. How did they plan to drill for something that's supposed to be impenetrable? I do not know. But there's a lot of things in this movie that don't make sense. So in attempting to do that, and Angela Bassett said, you're free to search for vibranium everywhere you want to. You're free to search everywhere you want to outside of Wakanda for vibranium. And it was like, okay, bet. So they found some in the ocean and they started drilling for it. And then out of nowhere, these fish people come and attack and kill everybody. And this is Namor and his people. So I was like, oh, crap. And the first thing that came to my mind was, where were all these people before? Like, where were these people when Thanos attacked? Where were these people when like out of the ocean an Eternal was about to be born? Like, these people just kind of, like, you've been here the whole time, really? Like, you just was just like underwater drinking gin and juice when Thanos came and snapped half your population away? What was up with that? But anyway, this new underwater civilization comes and they attacks because they are drilling for their vibranium. You stole my shit. And then after that, they showed Shuri and her mother, Angela Bassett, somewhere in Wakanda, just there crying about Chadwick Boseman's death, or excuse me, T'Challa's death. And then the guy comes, Namor, the chief Atlantean or whatnot. He comes up out of nowhere and he says, "Hey, because your husband being so charitable," and we're going to talk about why he was so charitable, because he let the world know that there's vibranium out there. Now you got people in my backyard coming looking for the stuff. So this is your F up and it's affecting my kingdom. I need your help in doing so. And then they're like, okay. And which doesn't make sense. And I'm gonna watch it again because I was like spot watching it. Okay, here's the thing. I really didn't like the movie. Let's be clear. Let's make that a very clear part of the review. I really, really, really didn't like the movie. It was very long and very, very uninteresting. So I may have missed some things because I wasn't paying full attention. It wasn't something that would keep you like glued in a movie theater, So Namor, he was explaining like, this is your F up. I want you to help me capture and kill the scientists who made the technology to find out where vibranium is. Because now you got people finding out where my secret underwater kingdom is. They're somehow able to find it even underwater. So, yeah. And for whatever reason, they've already found your location, but they're just going to forget about it. They're going to be like, okay, so the location of Namor's kingdom is where the people in the ship died, obviously. But we want to kill the scientists that invented the technology, hope that they never invent the technology again, and they also forget where the ship sank. That's what we're hoping for that. Hit the like button. By the way, I don't expect many people to watch this because it has spoilers. So, yeah. And movie reviews tend to not draw a crowd, but I got to get this off my chest. Anyway, where was I? Okay. So, to which they said no, because you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm a strong Black woman. And Angela Bassett said something interesting. She was like, Wakanda is the only place that had vibranium. It's like, okay, then why would you tell people to go to another place with it? Like, you're free to find it anywhere else in the world. That's what you told people, but you was like, oh yeah, but we only have it. We have the monopoly on vibranium. So that's more fool you. Too bad. So sad. We got you. So he was like, okay, well, I just came to ask you for your help in killing one person. And since you're not going to do that, I'm just going to leave. Didn't make any sense. And here's why. So you go to the next scene, and where the chief Dora Minaj and the Princess Siri, they are at MIT, and they're looking for the scientists. They're looking for the scientists who invented this technology. And what do they find? A 19-year-old black chick that looks like she's about 30. They found a 19-year-old black chick who is just like this super genius, because you don't have enough of those in the movie, right? You had to throw in some more black girl rock. It's like, yes, we're these MIT scientists, kick-ass ninja bitches, and of all the ethno genders in the world that could invent this machine, because keep in mind, she had to invent a vibranium detecting machine without ever having any vibranium. Like, okay, this is an opportunity to insert yet another black woman. Another black beat ass genius black woman. We need more of those in this movie. You could never get enough of that. You can never get tired of that. You can never say that that's redundant. And when I seen that, I was like, oh my God, this is just ridiculous. It's just one of those cringe things. It was cringe. It was just so cringe to watch that. So they did that. And of course, she was the daughter of a single mother to boot. To top everything off, that's what she was. So yeah, what do you mean, like a Mary Sue? No, was a Mary Sue convention. This was a Maisha Sue convention. This is where they convene, because it's so believable. Now, notice how when men make movies and that's starring an exceptional man, they do take time out to promote an exceptional woman. Let's take the first Black Panther, for example. They had T'Challa, but then they had the super beat ass sister in there. She was in the first movie. They didn't just make all the exceptional people black men. And then they didn't have like a random in there. She really had no business in the movie. But Shiri went to MIT and she went to talk to this chick to tell her what I don't even know. It's like, hey, so some fish people are out to kill you. And good luck with that. Good luck. Like what was your whole thing? Okay. What vested interests do you, as the royal princess of Wakanda, have in protecting some Maisha Sue from Chicago? If the fish people were to kill her, then people, I guess, somehow, even though the technology is already out there, people somewhere don't have the ability to find vibranium anymore, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But black woman, this was just an attempt this was just them inserting a black American woman into the movie. Like, we really need another queen here. We need another queen in this movie, but it's too many African ones. So we're going to find some type of generic way to put some American swag into the movie. Some black American female swag. So we're going to get this chick with her cornrows, and we're going to put her in the movie because we have to get like an urban queen, so to speak. We need one of those. So they do that, and it's obvious and it's cringe and stuff like that. And then for whatever reason, the CIA is surrounding MIT, and they're about to go in guns a-blazing after this black chick, because that's exactly how they work. The CIA was just going to go in and grab this black chick and say what at that point? Make me more technology, give me more stuff. You know how you made that machine that searches for vibranium, and you did it as one of your college projects, not knowing? We want you to do it more while knowing, because that is the way we roll. We're going to kidnap you, put you in a cage, and point at you and say, do technology. So they're like, oh, okay. An American attacking an American is somehow Wakanda's business. So we're going to do the whole action scene and the whole action sequence, and everybody was kung fu fighting type thing. We're going to do that. And then out of nowhere, the fish people come. The fish people come and kicks everybody's ass. And then they take the queen, or excuse me, the princess. And for whatever reason, you know that woman that they plan to kill? Well, instead of her killing that young lady, they decide to take the young lady with her and the princess. Because, why kill them when you can set them up in a secret underwater palace? Right? I mean, that makes sense. So they capture both of them. And oh, by the way, I forgot. Oh crap, I forgot a scene. Okay. I'm kind of like scrolling through the BL while I do this, but I forgot a scene. So there was a scene where the chief of the Jabari tribe, the person that's experienced in war, that has led the people, that saved the previous king's life, that led his people to save their kingdom. I'm using air quotes on save, from Killmonger. So he walks in, and then where the chief Dorminage chick calls him a musclehead and tells him, and then the queen tells him to sit down. And she tells him in a way by pointing to his seat, like he's a child. Like, hey, M'Baku, remember that time that I came to you begging? Like, oh, you great gorilla king, oh, you so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, remember that? Remember when I came at you like that? Well, now I'm telling you to sit down. Now I'm telling you to sit down like you're a child. Like, have a seat. I'm just gonna point to your chip. While the general, the person whose life you saved, when you were surrounded by the male protectors of Wakanda and your husband, yeah, while she just calls you an ignorant musclehead. Yeah, you get no respect. Yeah, thank you for fighting for us several times. Thank you for fighting for us in Black Panther 1. Thank you for fighting for the country against some insane, monster people from Thanos' army. Thanks for that. And thanks for doing it again in Endgame. But now you're just a stupid musclehead and take a seat. And thanks for saving my husband's life too, by the way. Appreciate you. And what does he do? Of course, he takes a seat. I mean, he never really challenged a 64-year-old woman for the throne, even though he challenged her son for it. He's like, you know something? It's been 5 years, and I don't want to be the ruler of Wakanda. I just don't want to. I wanted to then, but like being a ruler of Wakanda is just so old. It's that's something you want to do when you're 25. Now that I'm 30, I don't want to do that anymore. So somebody said those supervision says no respect for veterans. Sad. No respect for veterans on Veterans Day. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new here. No respect for veterans on Veterans Day. On Veterans Day, they show them disrespecting a veteran, the greatest veteran and ally that they have. All right. So now that we have that, now that they just completely emasculated the greatest protector that they have, so they go and get this Maisha Lu character, and she's captured. Now, and once again, that doesn't make sense because your whole goal was to kill this person, and for some reason, they feel like killing the person is going to kill the technology. Kind of like if something happened to Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook would just disappear off the face of the earth. It's kind of like that. Kind of like when Henry Ford passed away, all of the cars in the world vanished. Because that's how you end technology, right? You just get rid of the person that invents it. But anyway, they captured her, and we know that this is just the writer's desire to insert a Black American woman into the movie. Like, we have enough Black females, but we don't have enough Black females, so we need one more. So they insert her. Oh, there was another scene before that. I'm all over the place with this, I know. There was another scene before that where she was saying, this is my opportunity to find my favorite colonizer. Like, oh, crap. And then they go and find Bilbo Baggins again running, and they get into this whole conversation. So once again, just an excuse to bring in a white person into the movie because they want to span all audiences. So they bring in the white person, and it's really not necessary because you have like this whole sophisticated spy network. But nevertheless, you brought him in, and that's that. All right, so they're underwater in the kingdom, and Namor is just telling the story of his people. Apparently, they were something like Aztecs. He was born underwater, and oh, by the way, the BL that I seen, I don't know if they did this in a movie theater movie, but the subtitles was in Spanish. Now, I don't know if they were doing that to signify that they're speaking like an Aztec language, but or it looked like Spanish. But or maybe the person who did the BL just so happened to be Spanish and he was watching that version of it. But nevertheless, I didn't understand the subtitles. So when the underwater people were talking to each other, it was lost on me. But he was telling the story of what was going on and didn't understand most of it, but somehow he was born underwater and he had wings on his feet that gave him the ability to fly. And when he became of age, he led his people to conquer the conquistadors. That was get back for how they treated his mama. Not his dad. I don't know. Was he the son of Mansa Musa or something? But there didn't really seem to be a mention of his dad because, men are not significant. Somebody said they were Mayans not speaking Spanish. Well, I don't know what the subtitles were in. So the subtitles were in French, that's fine. It was some Latin language. Anyway, so and then that is historically accurate. So apparently it went back to the natives according to how they rewrote history there, which I really don't care about. What I do care about is how they tried to make it like a sweet romance between Shuri and this new underwater king. And what he said was another thing that didn't make any damn sense. He said, "You know something? Because they drilled up top my house, I'm going to take over the world now. I'm going to take over the land of the world. All the people up top, I'm going to take it over." Now, I've been around for a while. For, I don't know, somewhere around 500 years. I've been around for a while. And I've seen a lot of stuff. Like for example, they just trash. It's like a whole Australian sized island full of garbage in the ocean. I'm gonna let that slide. When a ship it crashes and lands on top of my house. I'm gonna let that slide. And it seems like people drill oil everywhere they find it in the ocean. I'm gonna let that slide. And then you got people coming out of nowhere snapping 50% of my population out of existence, probably even me. I'm going to let that slide. Oh, and then you have like a giant celestial robot that is going to be born halfway outside of the sea. I'm going to let that slide. But how dare you drill for vibranium right here? Oh no, I got to conquer the world now. And then he says something that didn't make any damn sense. He said, "Okay, um, I need Wakanda to help me take over the world because Wakanda is strong and powerful. But if you don't help me, I'm going to take over Wakanda." Okay, okay. How would taking over Wakanda help you? And taking over the world? I repeat, if you have this nation that you feel is strong, so basically they're weak enough for you to conquer as part of the rest of the world. They're weak enough for that, but they're strong in the sense that you need them in order to conquer the world. That doesn't make sense. It's like, listen, help us or we'll kill you. And in the process, we will weaken our own armies and we'll weaken our own navies in the process of attempting to take you over. And if we win, we'll use our leftover army to try to take over the world. Makes no sense whatsoever. Oh, and then in the midst of all that, they were still saying, "Let the girl go." Let the Keisha Sue girl go. Like, she is the most insignificant thing. They're keeping her alive underwater. Everything about this is just wrong. So then after that, here, let me read this. Did you notice the first option was to attack Wakanda, to go and destabilize when the CIA/US president didn't know who was attacking the drill rig? Yeah, yeah, exactly. I guess Namor feels more powerful than the US because everybody is more powerful than the US in this movie. Every native people seem to be extremely more powerful than the US. But we're going to get into that later. And thanks a lot. Actually, let me put you in the matrix. All right. So, all right. Thanks a lot. Anyway, so then what happened? And I may skip some things. Who knows? But I'm trying to like see everything. All right. So then what happens next is through some Navy SEAL endeavor, they were able to get a bunch of Wakandans underwater to go into the underwater caverns and layer and into an underwater kingdom and capture Siri. And in doing so, they killed somebody. And I don't know if she was somebody important, somebody who's royal, but they killed one of the fish people and who was guarding her. And Siri tried to save her. She tried to use her juju beads and her special ability to save her. And it was like, listen, we got to go. And they left. So there, for whatever reason, the Wakandans, the people who just ignored slavery, ignored colonization of the rest of the entire continent, ignored every major war in human history. They just have this overwhelming desire to interfere for the sake of this um of this teenage girl, this 30-year-old looking teenage girl. They're just like, oh yeah, we have to protect her because even though we're the reason, we could have did something when they were colonizing and enslaving and that got her there in the first place. We care now. We actually care now about what other nations is doing. So somebody said killed the fish concubine. I have no idea who that chick was. But then that happened, and Namor says, okay, because this happened, we are going to attack Wakanda. And then they prepared for the attack against Wakanda. Now, thanks a lot, Scott Haywood. All right. We're going to prepare for this attack against Wakanda. Now, in preparing for the attack against Wakanda, speaking of concubines, they take a trip to Haiti. The Queen of Wakanda takes a trip to Haiti, where you find Lupita Nyong'o, the chick that was friend zoning her son for forever. So they find her there doing mission work. And then the conversation kind of went like, bitch, where were you? Where the fuck were you? My son loved you. And when he was dying, you was nowhere to be found. And when he was out fighting some berserker beast against Thanos' army, you was nowhere to be found. Twice, you was nowhere to be found. And during his funeral, the would-be queen of Wakanda, you was nowhere to be found. That's exactly how the conversation, oh no, it didn't. It didn't go like that at all. The conversation went more like, hey, so we might be about to go to war with some fish people and we need you. Like, excuse me? Yeah, yeah. We need you, but I don't know how to fight. Yeah, but we need you. But I can't offer any military counsel. Yeah, but we need you. Why do you need me? Because you're a black woman. Okay. Why do you need me? Because you're a black woman. Yeah, but it seems like you have like a bunch of army of ninja genius black women. Why do you need me? Because we need you. You're dark. Okay. So yeah, I guess I'll go and with the fish people and if they come my way, I'll windmill at them. But yeah, sorry I didn't go to your son's funeral, but you know, me, I have to think about how honoring your son's life affects me. So yeah, I didn't go to his funeral. I didn't go and offer comfort in his last days or anything like that, even though but I loved your son. But this is the way I show it. Like I love your son, but when he needs me the most, I'm in Haiti dealing with sick people. Not the sick person that I love, but you know, sick other people. So that was her plan. She comes back out of nowhere because they need her for whatever strange reason that they never explain. All right. So Marco says they needed her. She had braids, too many baldies. Yeah, but Angela Bassett had braids. And they already brought in like a Black American cornrow chick, but they needed her because she had box braids. All right. Hold on. So now that they have like another main character, black woman, they're going to prepare for war. And by preparing for war, I mean not preparing for war. Well, what do you mean not preparing for war? Well, they just kind of like continued Wakanda life as usual. Oh, and by the way, for the most technologically advanced society in the world, the rank and file Wakanda person just lives like a basic life. They live in regular apartments. There isn't a bunch of kids going around with hover bikes and stuff like that. They live just basic lives. It's not like they were watching hologram TV and stuff. They live just regular lives. Now, which makes perfect sense, right? Because they don't. Okay, why is it that Wakanda don't have their own like passport bros and people getting their groove back? Why don't they have their own expatriates? You know, people who say, you know something, I'm gonna take a trip to France. And then they are able to have all of these millions of people keep this secret. Even the homeless is keeping this secret. But Namor comes and he attacks Wakanda. He attacks with about 20 people because instead of for preparing for war like a normal country would do, they go to Haiti to get a woman with box braids. Okay, somebody said something. Oh, come on, GC. You're underselling Wakanda. They did mount up a defense. Really? Well, please explain this defense that they mounted up. Did they have like a giant force field over the country of Wakanda? A country that, by the way, is not it's a landlocked country, but somehow these ocean people just come out of nowhere? Did they have that? Please explain to me. How did that work? So they were, and it wasn't like a huge army of them, you know, like if they were actually prepared, then you know those guys with the cloak and the spears that protected it from Thanos's army, those guys would be outstanding in attention. But instead, these 20 people come and they kill the queen. That's right. Angela Bassett's character is dead. Oh, that's why they needed her. You're right. So they did need one with hair, and because they were going to get rid of another one with hair. So Angela Bassett's character is dead. And then after killing the queen of Wakanda, he says, I'm going to give you a week. I'm going to give you a week to prepare your defenses, and then we're going to attack you. Because that's exactly how it works, right? You sneak into a country, you kill their leader, and then you give them a week before you attack, even though you already attacked. Because it makes sense somehow. It makes sense when you don't think about it. That's how all war works. That is how World War II started. They invaded Poland, and then they gave Poland a week to prepare for an invasion. That is exactly how stuff like that works. So after attacking and killing the queen and giving them a week, Shuri goes to a couple of people. She goes to, her guard, her general guard, who had her spear taken because she failed to protect Shuri the first time, and asks for help. And then they go back to the Gorilla King. And the Gorilla King says, yeah, we don't want to kill this guy. Like, why? Because he kicked your ass? Like, no, that's not why. Because the people call him a god, and, we don't want them type of problems. I wanted to kill him before, but I don't want to kill him now because his people call him a god. And, yeah, we don't want to kill their god, or else we'll be at war with these people forever. We just want to kill their king, and that would have been different somehow. Made no sense, but hey, this movie don't necessarily make sense. And of course, they ask him for help. Now, it's like, wait a minute. You should have asked him for help when you was preparing for the war before. But instead, it seemed like he was just out on a stroll at the river. Somebody said, I haven't seen the movie. You are not missing anything. You are not missing anything. So, they have this Gorilla King. And he is now just okay. Now he's just timid, but he has to be convinced, and they eventually convince him to take up arms against Wakanda. And he offered to bring in the people of Wakanda to his gorilla lands, which I don't really get because apparently they're going to attack Wakanda, but not the gorilla parts of it because it's protected by the king who could just protect all of it the same way he protected Gorilla Mountains. It is not making sense. Oh, and also in the process, the American girl is building her own Iron Man suit. I repeat, she's building her own Iron Man suit of vibranium. Because in addition to being a 19-year-old MIT super genius, she has to be a beat ass bitch. She just has to be a beat ass bitch. So now they want to give her beat ass bitch powers in order to make her seem that much cooler. Now, this is a power that they should have been given to everybody. Every man, woman, and child capable of fighting should have like a super suit. Okay. Javon says it's also from the water. I don't really know if the Jabari lands is more defensible. In fact, and it most certainly isn't away from the water because remember, they found King T'Challa in the water. But it would seem as if you would keep your people in the place that you have that huge dome over it. But let's ignore that for a second, right? Why didn't they move their people to Jabari lands when Thanos and his crew was attacking? Oh. All right. So, yeah, you are in the Matrix. Thanks, love. Again, it didn't make sense. And I know you want to make sense of the nonsensical, but what you're describing really would just mean that the people would just attack the Jabari lands, the people who fight with sticks and stones and muscle, versus attacking Wakanda. Just saying. Now, so Siri gets together and she synthesizes the heart-shaped herb because even though she had 5 years to do it and she had to do it to save her brother's life, um, she had to be in immediate danger and she had to do it for the protection of Maisha Sue. She had to protect Maisha Sue at all costs because she is the future of Wakanda. You know, the person who's not actually from Wakanda. And she is now a protector of the secret of Wakanda, even though she's a gossiping teenager. They're just letting everybody in on a secret that they had for thousands of years. Yeah, but she's cool because she got braids. Anyway, she synthesized a heart-shaped herb. And then she took it and she goes into the spirit realm where she finds none other than Eric Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan. Now, I'm be honest, she looked like she wanted to fuck. She looked like she wanted to sleep with her cousin, the one that tried to kill her. Which really just goes into the category of bad acting. Because the actress wanted to fuck him, And she couldn't hide that on screen. She couldn't hide that body language on screen. He's supposed to be your cousin and a person that you hated. But she talks to him, have this whole in-depth, deep conversation. Like, do you want to be like T'Challa or do you want to be like me? T'Challa, he doesn't have it in him to get stuff done, and it's true. T'Challa was a very, as far as kings go, he sucked. I mean, he sucked real, real bad. And keep in mind, this all started with him. This all started with T'Challa, or this all started with T'Challa, because T'Challa, apparently he offered the world a taste of his vibranium, because before him, they thought that that what's his name, I think his name was Eric, you know, they thought that that white guy took all the vibranium. They didn't know that there was still vibranium in Wakanda, and now the world is looking to take your shit. So because and by the way, you know that woman that convinced you to open up Wakanda to the world and then left you? Yeah, that chick, the one who you was trying to smash, she kept you in a friend zone. So you opened up Wakanda to everybody. You let everybody know about Wakanda's secrets. You're flying hovercrafts in Oakland and crap. The one that convinced you to do that stupid crap and then left you. You remember her, right? Yeah, well, after you did that stupid crap trying to impress this bitch and she left you, now she left you with literally a whole world of problems because now you let the world know. Thank you, Ulysses Claw. You let the world know that you have something that the world wants. So she left you with those type of problems. And when I say left you, I mean literally left you. So now the world is after you, you're dead, and um your sister has to pick up the mantle. She has to pick up the pieces. So yeah, you were a shit king because Killmonger would have never did that. That's not how he got down. Oh, and also, all those Wakandan lives, those Wakandan male lives that were lost in the first two wars that you put them in, when you could have just like killed Vision and destroyed his stone and then recycled Vision because he's really made out of your vibranium. Instead of for doing that, you got a lot of your men killed to save the life of a robot. So he's just pointing out that, hey, yeah, your brother wasn't the best king. He really sucked at being king. So if you're gonna be queen of Wakanda for whatever reason, I mean, you didn't have to fight or do anything for it. But if you're gonna be queen of Wakanda, then here's a few pointers. This is essentially how the conversation went, and then she awakened from her trance, and now she got the glow. She got the glow, and she arm wrestles M'Baku, and they just have to show her overpowering M'Baku in a arm wrestling competition. Even though she took the heart shape herb, and that explains why. So she gives M'Baku the stupidest battle strategy I have ever heard, ever. Okay, this guy Javon. It says, okay, GC, um, you're you are reaching hard. Thanos proved it didn't matter because he would have just reminded, or excuse me, um, reminded time and got the stones no matter what. Not true. Not true. he could only rewind time to a point to where he had the stones. So having the time stone, if they would have destroyed it before he got the time stone, then he would not have been able to do that because he would just rewind time back to where he was. Or excuse me, he wouldn't have been able to rewind it that far. So yeah, that wouldn't have happened. Again, Killmonger would have just said, "Oh, so you want me to use my army, the lives of the sons of Wakanda, to protect this nigga? Yeah, you're gonna have to come up off that stone or get the fuck out of my country." So anyway, sucked as a king. Really, really sucked. Remember how everybody had to kneel to his father, even his own brother? But when T'Challa was king, he was like, "Oh yes, but we don't do that here." And remember when he froze because he met Lupita? Yeah, sucked as a king. Anyway, where was I? Oh, so Angela Bassett is dead, and they are preparing for war this time, even though they knew the war was coming the last time. They were preparing for war again. And talk to the Gorilla King, and he's down to follow her battle plan because she knows what she's doing. Worst battle plan ever. Like, hey, you want to know how to defeat a bunch of fish people? Oh, how do you defeat a bunch of fish people? In the water. Like, what? Yeah, in the water. But isn't that where they have the greatest home field advantage? Yes. And didn't they tell you exactly when they were coming to attack you on your home turf where you have the advantage? Yeah. So why attack them where they have the advantage? Wakanda forever. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me see if we can make sense of this. We're to attack water people in the water. Yes, yes, that's exactly the plan. Well, do we have like scuba equipment or, submarines or what? Well, no, we have a boat. So, does your entire army fit on a boat? Now, I want to discuss this for a second. The Wakandan army always seems to be the size that it needs to be. Like in the first movie, it seemed to be maybe like 200 Wakandan men in the army. And then the Jabari came with their 200 people. So it seems like they have an army of like 400 warriors. But they talk crap to the rest of the world. They talk about taking over the rest of the world that has millions of actual soldiers. But it's like, yeah. We got these 100 or so guys, but Vibranium. And then when Thanos attacked the first time, it looked like it was just like a field of thousands of them, which is still significantly less than most every other major country's army. But hey, why quibble over details, right? And now it seems like the entirety of the army that no longer includes those guys with the force fields and the spears, they're gone. Consist of just a boatload. Their entire army seems to be a boatload of people. One boat full of their entire army. And they're like, we're going to take this boat full of our entire army and we're going to use it to go to sea to attack sea people. And then at first they're winning, and you have the people with their new special suits and it's about two new main characters and two old main characters, all black females, and they are attacking the sea people. And they are winning. And then because they're at sea, and you shouldn't attack sea people at sea, they start to lose. Now, the sea people cause some type of explosion on the boat or under the boat, and but the boat didn't sink. Don't really know what the purpose of that was. Maybe to stop that device that that sonic device. But they begin to board the boat and then attack the people, and they're winning the attack now. And Shuri is on a one-on-one, one against one with Namor. She wins that battle and she makes him surrender, and then for whatever reason they lose the entire war, and they're made to kneel to the Wakandans that they were about to defeat. So apparently now their entire army consists of maybe about 8 people. 8 spear-wielding people. That is what defends the nation now. Because, but they protected that American girl. Hit the like button. So, yeah. So, the sea people go back to the sea. They don't attempt to attack again because that would make too much sense now that their army is down to 8 people. Siri goes on some type of strange pilgrimage, and M'Baku finally says to him, okay, I want to be king now. I didn't want to be king for the past 5 years. Oh, and by the way, there wasn't an Air Force either. All those flying hover, military planes, they didn't have any of those. Well, they had one, and that was the one that transported Siri, but they only had the one. Like, they never have an Air Force because, they have all that technology, but not flying, attacking machines like that. They don't even have like the regular, American style aircrafts. They just don't. They don't have any of those. That would be too convenient. You can't beat what you can't see. So, and then after all this, something strange happens, and that is M'Baku says, I want to be king, and he stands over his things like, who's going to challenge me? It's like really? Like, after all this time, like, it seems like you would have been like the natural king after T'Challa was Thanos snapped away. It seemed like he would have just picked up the mantle, like, okay, like on Doctor Strange. On Doctor Strange, when the Wizard Supreme was vanished, they had the other guy become Wizard Supreme. Like, they didn't just go without a Wizard Supreme, but Wakanda just goes without a Black Panther and let his mama take over. Yeah. So he now wants to become king after all this time. He's like, okay, now that Angela Bassett is out the way, I want to become king. Thank you, Wong. And they're like, okay, we're pretty much done taking all the money we can from this franchise by destroying completely the franchise. We're going to have a Black Panther movie without the Black Panther. And, we're never going to revisit Wakanda again. So we could just put any type of crappy stuff out there that we want. And now you can have the kingdom. Now you can be king. And now all the people will embrace you, the Gorilla King, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah. And that's pretty much the end of that. She goes to Haiti to talk to her brother, and that's pretty much it. All right, so let me read some of the comments before I close down. Somebody said when they killed Kennedy, why his mama didn't take over. All right. Put that out there. Even though I doubt anybody wants to come up, but still. All right. So it says, to be fair, the Wakandans use vibranium detectors to drill and draw into the sea people for the main fight. That was a strategy to weaken Namor, but not necessarily his army. Well, the strategy didn't work, did it? It was a really bad strategy. Kind of like you don't fight a shark in the shark. I mean, if a shark said, I am going to come onto land and kick your ass, then your best bet be like, all right, meet me in the Sahara, nigga, is what you would say to a shark. You would not say, okay, meet me in the ocean. You don't do that. Like, okay, let's flip to DC for a second, right? And I didn't watch Smallville like that because I'm not into DC, but I did catch an episode, and in that episode, it just so happens to be the introduction of Aquaman. And Aquaman kicked Clark Kent's ass in the water. He says, I am king in the water. In the water, I'm Superman. But on the land and in the sky, you are Superman. I get that. That is the dynamic. So what Superman would never do is fight in the water. Like, and they realized that about him. They was like, oh, you know what I realized? That the water makes Namor stronger. So I'm going to fight him in the water. Because, yeah, that's how I get down Wakanda forever. Yeah, that is not the best idea. It is not the best idea. Like, okay, and then there's the animal aspect of it. Apparently, the Wakandas use animals in their warfare. The rhinoceros, for example. So instead of for fighting where you have the rhinoceroses, you're gonna fight where they have the whales. Really? They got all the whales. They got all the dolphins.
Yeah, I just saw it last night. What's up, GameChanger, bro? I just saw it last night, man, and the other gentleman on the panel. I just saw it last night. It's
Shout out
actually,
to y'all, man. Good morning.
yeah. I'm not gonna stay over very long. I just wanted to address a couple of things that you mentioned. That you're right that the main fight scene it was lacking. They showed one big major transport vehicle. Okay, so we get it. You got to bring your army, right? But where was all the stuff? So I was expecting all the ships and
Right.
everything, all the flying aircraft and all the cool ships to come out because you need air support. So you got that big old ship, nothing else comes out. You're just
Yeah.
gonna have some people rappel off the side. That's that's ill preparing your army. You're right. You're right. But again, it's a move. It's a Marvel movie, so you got to suspend disbelief a little bit. And I know they were trying to write a viable story without Chadwick, and I get that.
Right.
So I'm not going to give them. I'm going to be too hard on them as much as I would be on something like The Woman King, because they distorted that movie from almost start to finish, right?
Yeah.
So with the Marvel stuff and then the powers and everything else, the whole thing about I was trying to figure out how she was going to be able to defeat him in a fight because he was so much more powerful. But then she got him to the point of being weakened, so she had a plan for that, and she got him away from water. So I mean, which is what she would have been doing. So which kind of goes back to your whole point of how you're going to attack the surface world. We know the world is three-fifths water, right? So they have the advantage everywhere there's water. But as soon as you get on the mainland, as soon as you get away from the water and you start losing your strength, then every army has its weakness. That's the one. I'm a military dude, right? So I know you go throughout history, every army everywhere, and when you look at it, you go back and look at the after action review, you can see where they had their weaknesses. You can see where the Third Reich, when they tried to come to power, they had all of their weaknesses. They basically spread themselves too thin. All right, they wasted resources in Africa, and then it made them weak to actually fight in the European theater. So that's where they kind of.
What was okay? Let's talk about that for a second, since we're talking about poor military strategy.
Yeah.
Which nation, did the kill shot? Which nation actually did the most against Germany?
Shoot. I always look at it from the terms of them actually being weakened in the African campaign.
No. I'm talking about the final push. I'm talking about the final. Who took half their shit in the end? Who Negan them?
I got to think about that for a second.
Well,
I'll
help you with that. I'll help you with that. It was Russia, and you want to know why? You want to know why Russia did that, and you want to know how Russia did that?
Because they had the weather to contend with.
That's my point. That's my point. You don't fight Russia in the snow. Yeah. You don't fight Russia built in and bred from that. Exactly. And by that logic, you don't fight sea people in the sea. You don't fight Russia in the snow, and you don't fight sea people in the sea. That is something you should learn.
Can I interject?
Go for it.
Okay, so now, based off my memory of the film, I think the only reason why she went so wild with that plan, because she knew Namor literally had no reason to come back up to the surface. He did his damage, destroyed their air force, drowned the majority of their people, killed their queen. So he basically gave her the message. He promised her, listen, if you don't agree to pass this girl over, I will attack Wakanda, bring it to its knees, and kill your queen. So just agree to my terms. When she ran off and killed one of his civilians, he said, all right, I'm going to have to do what I got to do. So he went in, did his damage, literally looked her dead in the eye and said, now you're a queen. So I want you to pass the girl to me. Otherwise, I'm just going to straight up wipe them out. It is what it is. So at that point, she had to, I mean, it was still, military-wise, it was still kind of a dumb plan, but I understand why she took the risk, because it was the only way to get Namor to come out again. Because he doesn't really give a shit about the surface world. So as long as you don't mess with his water and in the city, he ain't gonna mess with you.
No, he wanted to conquer the surface world. He made that clear.
He literally said that. He was like, us together, we can take everything.
Well, let's put it this way. He wanted.
Furthermore, well, right quick. In addition to that, what was this strange erection that he had for killing this girl when he captured the girl and he could have killed her at any time?
She was leveraged.
No, he didn't kill her because
he wanted to levy the alliance. He wanted the alliance more than anything because he didn't have a presence on the surface, and he knows Wakanda is the most technologically advanced. So at that point, when his generals told him that she willingly gave herself up to speak with him, so he was like, okay, I guess I can actually levy this alliance. Then I guess I won't kill the girl. If I can get the alliance over the girl, I'll get it. Yeah, I'll take that. There's more value.
Okay, so why did the queen sacrifice herself for the girl?
Don't make no sense. Just
You mean for Riri? You mean that part?
Yeah.
I don't know why she did that. That was a little weird, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe some motherly instinct thing. I don't justify that.
So really, so you sacrifice the mother. You are a mother, and you're gonna leave your own daughter motherless. So this chick from Chicago can live.
Oh, you know what? If I think
Exactly,
about
man.
it, hold on. If I think about it more, right? We know that the queen puts Wakanda over everything, including herself, correct? And we heard many a times that
she didn't put Wakanda over this
hold on, real
19-year-old chick from Chicago.
real quick. Okay, so we know that she always puts Wakanda over herself, right? She talks about how Riri is included, and they saved her, so she's willing to give a little something to Wakanda. Also, based off, if you see the end credit scene, you'll know that she knows she still has family left, so she was willing to do that. I know it's not the most well-written shit. I'm not saying this film is like a majestic piece of writing, but if I reasonably take the context clues and all that from the film, I could come to that conclusion. I don't really expect most casual viewers to do that, but I do see the point that was kind of wild to sacrifice yourself, and I do agree. I mean, personally, Riri probably shouldn't even been in the film, but
have.
really.
Yes,
really shouldn't have.
Probably, yeah.
She's a scientist. That's the only reason for her to be there.
Yeah, I mean, we know this. Marvel has done this
But
for I don't know how many times now.
They're a scientist.
I mean, basically,
not everybody.
Remember though, you got to remember, right? They said go to MIT or whatever. They said that was the equivalent of middle school. That's the middle school level, right? So when you understand that, quote unquote, this woman is MIT, which is basically a genius level graduate. That's what they would consider their middle school level. You looking at this chick like the fuck, man. It started to make no sense. Like the part I had like two issues. Like my first issue was the final battle scene, and the second battle scene. Because right quick.
Zulu, hold up, brother, hold up. Because we want to go somewhat in order. Let's get Maxis in, because I do want to get your take. What's that? ABM, Marcus?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, no, when it comes to the movie and the Marvel lore, this movie was like stuff like it's probably in the middle. You want to compare all the MCU movies and the continuity so far from what the movies have shown. They did take out the scene where Doctor Doom was supposed to be in the post credits, or at least mentioned. This movie should have introduced maybe the mutants more, as opposed to Riri Williams, which is considered to be, I think, in the comics, I think it was Tony Stark who was supposed to have more of a connection with relation, but because he passed away in the MCU, he's not in it. So that kind of makes a loophole in it. And then obviously the lineage that showed at the end credit scene right there with the next up and coming possible king or prince, but
that's Young Avengers, right? Wasn't that going to connect to like Young Avengers?
I would think so. Like I would say, hey, if he's a teenager when he's a little older, I think that would make sense for the next time the next sequel comes out.
Yeah,
hopefully they have like a young little squad. But I don't know, man. This movie was obviously, it had its ups and downs. I wouldn't say that it's probably. I think Black Panther, the first one, was better, but because obviously it was missing that male dominant presence.
Yeah, you could definitely
a lot of it was. And even though no disrespect to the ladies out there,
it was missing that.
Yeah, so and then the fact that if you guys watched when they brought back one character and she took that herb, man, man, it just made me wish like, man, I wish they didn't off that one guy, man, but
everybody was going crazy in the movie theater when he came back, man. Everybody was going.
Yeah, that means he's deceased.
I thought they were going to show I thought they were going to show T'Chaka maybe, like also the older the original Black Panther, the dad. Yeah, I thought they were going to show him too.
But because he wouldn't approve of that. He wouldn't approve that.
No, they wouldn't.
Well, no, I mean it makes sense that they showed Killmonger, because if they showed T'Chaka, they would be like, "Where's T'Challa?" Because remember,
T'Challa. Okay, now here's the thing.
They would have said,
"You want to go chill out with T'Challa?"
T'Challa, bro. Not
This
T'Challa.
Called him a chinchilla, basically.
So, hey,
T'Challa,
Game
but-
Changer, two things
What's
real
up?
quick. So Killmonger shows up because she's filled with rage at that point. She wants revenge. So that's the most connection that she has to the nearest ancestor who has revenge motive, right? Like he's like, look, you gonna handle business or what? And then the other thing too, this is a major other plot point.
He gonna be noble like your brother, or you gonna handle business.
Exactly. And this is one other major plot point, all right, that completely messes up the whole thing. All right, when you know how real life works. And again, this is why you got to suspend disbelief for these movies. Look, they made a point of talking about, well, we only have one drill bit detector or one drill detector for vibranium or one contraption that does this. Let me tell you something. When the United States gets a hold of something, they make it work. The first thing they do is start copying the plans, right?
Yep.
And then they start making copies, and then they develop it and actually do more R&D to make it better. That's the first thing we do. We're gonna
Man,
make copies.
Well,
So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't kill the technology. I mean,
Yeah.
just the fact that they took it from her term paper or whatnot. They took it from her and then they replicated it, and they would have had to like put it on a satellite or some crap.
Different copies of that thing. And
Yeah,
not only
but
that,
I mean,
making it better.
but what's the range on it? Because were they just like boating around the world hoping to get lucky? And then, so it had to have a significant range, meaning that they had to add something to it. Like the whole thing that, like, oh, we'll kill her, we'll solve the problem. And they could just remember where they were the last time.
That too, man. I mean,
like it was so bad. It was so bad. They really was just forcing
Namor might not
her
understand
in there because they needed more black titties.
You said what now?
he said they need more black what?
More black
titties. Yeah.
So now the reason I said all that is that Namor might not understand how things work in the surface world. Like I said, you're not going to have only one major. If you have a piece of equipment that important, the first thing you can do is copy the plans, replicate more, and then you refine it and make it better. That's the first thing we're going to do. Because I know how this works. I mean, I know you know that, right? Everybody knows that.
Yeah, that's what I would have did. I mean,
but now Namor might not know that. He thinks, okay, this is the only one they have. I just got to get rid of this one.
I
Kevin,
was
call him
gonna
by
say,
his name, all right? Call him Kukulkan.
Yeah, I was just about to say from Namor's perspective, it's one time in the ocean. Let me just handle the creator. That's a wrap. So I wouldn't expect him to know that, that might be more.
That
Well,
don't even
no,
make sense.
but he does know
They
about
got
the
their
surface
own
world.
Vibranium
I mean,
plan.
Yeah, he knows about the
he knows
surface,
about
but
the
he
surface
doesn't.
world because he knew about Wakanda, and Wakanda didn't know about
He
him.
remember he can hear all the things that happen on the water. So with Wakanda specifically, he was snooping around trying to make an alliance. So in my opinion, I think he was waiting around, and then when Wakanda was at his weakest, he took that opportunity to try to set up an alliance. That's what I think personally.
One thing I didn't like about the
after this we got Last Zulu, but go for it.
There was the Namor character, which I didn't like about was Namor was supposed to be Romanian. He was supposed to be a Romanian, like European, like type of guy. They made him like Mayan, Aztec, Hispanic. I was like, they kind of like tokenized the character of Namor. They did not they did tokenize him. He's Romanian actually.
Agreed. I thought he was an Atlantean, but
yeah, he was white.
Yeah.
He was originally white. He's originally white. So
oh really? I thought he was kind of Asian.
The characters
no,
he's
Romanian.
Hawkman was white. They changed him in Justice Society for Alden Aldis or whatever, that black actor.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he did a really good job.
Well, they wanted to put the two biggest oppressed American groups together.
Yeah.
So do you see the kind of like the subplot there? Like, okay, there's the Hispanics versus the black folks again.
Yeah, I did notice that shit.
Yeah.
I'm like,
kind of.
I kind of picked up on that. Okay,
well, I don't know where you put like Atuma at, because I know Atuma has always been a rival of Namor. He tries to conspire to take Namor's throne and stuff. Like
I don't think that they'll ever mention Namor again in the MCU, to be honest.
Yeah, and also about the Killmonger cameo. The thing is, I didn't like the part when she was trying to insult him. When he was right, and he was telling her, if I was there, this would never have happened. If this would have happened, if I was alive, and she knew she wasn't fit for that throne, and that she shut up and thought about it, like such and such is killed. This person is killed in this character. This person is gone in the character. This which they shouldn't have never killed this person off. That was just, I didn't see no part of that was ridiculous. We're doing that, but Killmonger, he was right about it. A lot of women was mad in that movie theater when I heard that he came back because he was like he killed one of the daughters from AJ's. I said, yeah, because y'all didn't respect man, and y'all dethroned him, and y'all killed him. He did everything right in the book.
Wow. So the women you watch the movie with seem to only care about death when it's a black woman.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes.
So come on,
yes. Last Zulu, your thoughts?
Okay, like I had two issues. Like, all right, well, my main issue was with the final fight. So I'm looking at this chick. I mean, even when she quote unquote they were fighting Namor, and when she got stabbed through the chest, and I'm looking at the size of this spear, and it literally went like through her spine. Like when you really look, it was like center mass straight through the spine, right?
It touched the rock on the back, yes.
Yeah, right. And for me being like a paramedic, I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, this fight is over, bro. Like
you gotta suspend disbelief.
Like,
fight is over. You know you gotta suspend disbelief for Marvel fans, man.
This is straight to the chest, and then all of a sudden she just cut this thing off and just keep moving. I'm like, wait a minute, bitch, you should have had massive blood loss, man. Like your internal organs should be all ripped up and whatnot. And then and the crazy part is when she finally do win the battle, right? She was like, "Oh, just let him win." I'm like, "Wait, or like forgive him." I'm like, "Wait a minute, this motherfucker just came into your capital city, bro. He
killed your mama,
killed half your goddamn citizens, right? Wiped out half your goddamn army, and all of a sudden, right here, right now, you gonna be like, I forgive, man. Fuck this shit. You gonna
get in here? Stella wanted to get her groove back.
Add on to it.
Well, now remember. The reason he was fighting was because he went in, killed one of his folks, and rescued Shuri.
Hey, look, you know how America rocks. You kill one of us, you get all of us. Like that. I completely understood why Namor blew up Wakanda. I'm like, yeah, he was nice, he was kind, and you killed the caretaker. Time to get rocked.
But guess what? I'm gonna add something else. Killmonger told her, he was like, "You gonna be a noble like your brother? Or you gonna handle business?" The thing is, she forgave the dude that destroyed Wakanda, whatever, like that, and fucked up her people and shit like that. I said, "Oh, she went passive mode again, like her brother, instead of just killing the dude, killing Namor right there on the spot."
Yeah, it's like that part. I was like, I couldn't suspend belief no more. Like I was trying real hard, but I'm like, man, so he came into your village, like when you was at his village, right? You killed one person by accident and said, well, y'all held captive, right? But that's a sign of war, right? He came, blew up your goddamn. He came up there, blew up your village, killed your mom, killed a whole bunch of hundreds of thousands of people, and whatnot, killed part of your army. And then all of a sudden, you got the drop on him. You being like, "What? We don't forgive him now?" Like I was just like, "Man, fuck this shit. I can't."
Right. I was like, this would never happen if Killmonger was still alive.
Anybody else was alive. If T'Challa was alive, that man would have died, bro. If his daddy was alive, he would have died. Killmonger would have goddamn would never been in this situation. He did. I mean, like between that and I was like. You live on like you have like two major land masses that you live on. You have the mountains that they had the grasslands, and then they have the land by the river. That's how Wakanda is set up, right? So like you don't think that they had these people come to the mountains where it's nice and cold at. You don't bring them folks to the grassland. When you remember when they fought what's his name? Thanos. They had them come out to the grassland. They had that fight there. I was like, you don't think of doing none of this shit, but you want to fight him right in the middle of the ocean. I was like,
yep.
This is some bitch shit, bro. Because there ain't none of these facts are smart, man.
Then Dr. T.S. Johnson said that Ryan Coogler said it's easier working with women than the men in the film too. I said, get your goofy ass. I said, you really acting like that shit. It is an article about it. He said that.
So the other
said that, Ryan Coogler?
Yeah, he said that goofy ass shit. I got the link.
Hey, Jay, like I think your mic is repeating itself or something, man. You may want to turn your mic down a little bit.
So the overall thing is too. This is where black people got to be. This is where black people have this thing where we got to be noble and everybody else gets to be cruel. They get to lie, cheat, steal, and kill and murder and do everything else. But we got to be noble. We got to be the bigger people.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, I hope that's not my mic.
Nah, I mean I heard a chime, but you sound cool.
I'm muted, so I don't me.
I don't. Y'all hear something? I don't hear anything. Oh, maybe it's me, but yeah, I have my headphones on. It shouldn't be echo.
You hear me now?
We can hear you.
Let me mute, and then somebody say something.
All right, hello.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
It's still echoing.
Okay, well, it's somebody.
Yeah, it's just the volume's turned up somewhere too high. That's all.
Everybody who's not talking, then mute up. But yeah, it was a lot wrong. And correct me if I'm wrong. When he captured, the daughter and the scientist that he wants to kill so bad, but he captured, and then he went to Angela Bassett on the beach.
Yeah, you didn't hear GameChanger? She wanted her groove back. Stella wanted her groove back.
Yeah. He met her there and he threatened her, but she was demanding like the girl that she never met and her daughter back. It was a weird thing. I don't know, like that whole interaction. What did you fellas think of that? Because if I remember correctly, he offered to give the daughter back and then she demanded that he give her back and said,
I mean, it didn't even make sense because, like he said, as long as he said, "Oh, she's my guest," and I got her there, quote unquote, the whole situation would have stopped right then and there, right? So, even if you try to talk, quote unquote, try to show, if you try to get an alliance, right, you need to have the queen on your side if you're trying to have the alliance, right? So necessarily, so the daughter would have been a quote unquote an envoy. So this don't even make any sense from a tactical standpoint. I'm just sitting here looking at this shit. Don't make no sense.
Yeah,
none of it makes no sense. Because I'm like,
okay. Well, if you get the daughter back and you agree to the alliance, you get the daughter back. If you don't agree to the alliance, you don't get her back. The scientist, the other character, the Riri character, she doesn't really factor in. She can live or die; it doesn't matter.
But they made her factor in though. They made her a factor.
Yeah, Shuri made her a factor. But then, but you look at it this way, right? If you kill the guy,
everybody made her a factor. Like Angela Bassett made her a factor.
Yeah. But if you want the alliance, pretty much, right? This is said it right. You're showing the princess the lay of the land and whatnot, right? To have her quote unquote come to your side, right? So but like this, having her captive like that necessarily is not going to help your situation that much more necessarily. Really, I'm looking at like in a grand scheme of, because I'm like you still need to get the queen on your side for to even have this alliance. So I just couldn't see why having her daughter captive is going to help you in that situation in the long run.
Well, but let me ask this, because this is the end of Phase 4. So we had Shang-Chi, we had the Eternals, we had Spider-Man No Way Home, we had Thor 4, we had Doctor Strange 2, and we have this movie, and then we have I don't know if I'm missing one.
No, that was
but,
it.
So far, those are the Phase 4 movies, and that's the end of Phase 4. Where would you rank this amongst the Phase 4 movies? Because I got Shang-Chi and I got Spider-Man on the top, but I have Thor 4 and I have Doctor Strange over there. Eternals is in the middle, but Doctor Strange 2 and Thor 4 in the bottom.
I would rank this beneath Eternals, only because Eternals was like, the first one is always better to me. Like when they introduce a new group of people or a new character and a new concept. So I would rank this below that.
Definitely.
Yeah, actually, this probably ranks somewhere in the realm of Iron Man 2.
Okay.
Or Winter Soldier. So it's
Wait a minute. You are not going to disrespect Winter Soldier like that.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Winter Soldier is a great film.
Okay, fair enough. Let's take Winter Soldier out of this and let's just say Iron Man 2. Maybe even it ranks above the first Incredible Hulk movie. Actually, I only have one.
Wait, hold on. When you say the first one, are you talking about the one back in the early 2000s? Are you talking about
no, not that one. Not that one.
Gotta be.
Okay, because we have multiple different actors for Hulk, so that's why I had to ask.
No, Ed Norton. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah, I'd say it ranks pretty low. It doesn't even seem like it's part of the MCU. This is more just something that they threw together.
Okay, but it's above that Thor movie.
Last.
That Thor movie and this one is. I gotta personally say, I think the Thor movie was a tad bit better than the Black Panther, man. Like,
wait, which Thor though? The first one, the fourth one, the second one?
I didn't even see the most recent one.
Love and Thunder.
I didn't see Love and Thunder.
The one,
don't watch it. It's a waste of time.
It's a whole bunch of gay shit.
Yeah, it was
Well,
bad.
yeah. No, I did
Not
watch
the
it.
buzzword.
Well, I wasn't gonna watch this, like, but I seen Courtney Michelle's take on it. I was like, okay, let me get the VL for this.
I mean, I saw it on bootleg, so I don't
Courtney
know.
Michelle is
All right, so-
Wait, you was to Courtney Michelle? What she got? What she said?
Say that again.
She said it was kind of like a woman.
She basically.
She gave it a what?
She said what I thought. Like, she said that it was too feminist. She said that it was Woman King on steroids. Let me see if I can find it.
Yes.
Talking about Thor 4?
No, you're talking about
No,
Wakanda.
Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
But
So,
what I will say about Wakanda Forever, I think out of all the Phase 4 movies, it was the most well shot. I enjoyed the shots and the cinematography of this film over the other Phase 4 films.
So I just
Phase 4 films.
yeah,
Well,
artistically
Ryan Coogler has
speaking,
his
it's actually
talent.
very good. Artistically, yeah, they did a really good job.
He has his talents. I still wouldn't put it above though. Even with that, I still wouldn't have put it above Doctor Strange or Spider-Man, the most recent Spider-Man.
I'm putting it above Love and Thunder though.
But I think they put more
100% above Love and Thunder. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna say one more thing, and I gotta go, guys. But check this out. The one thing that Namor actually did right was want to form an alliance with Wakanda, because him being the Sea People and then them having been technologically advanced would have actually, those two working together would have gave them an advantage over pretty much everybody.
Yeah, agreed.
Or at least most nations. They would have had it. So he's right with that. That was a good tactical move on his part. He's like, look, you guys, I know what you guys are capable of. I know what I can do. Let's get together and make this happen.
Yeah,
he was
agreed.
just trying to force it. But hey,
yeah, I agree with Kevin, man.
Yeah, also.
All right, gentlemen. Hey, I'll be listening from the background, but thanks for letting me up. I got to take off my wife now. We get ready to go somewhere. But you guys,
Peace out, Kevin.
this up, man. We'll catch you later.
All right, peace. Have a nice day.
All right, man.
All right, can y'all hear this? Let me know if you can hear it.
So I just left seeing Wakanda Forever, and I'm pissed. I am pissed because if pushing an agenda was a movie, this would be in the forefront of that. This was Woman King on steroids. If you think that I'm gonna believe 100-pound black woman soaking wet is just an almighty warrior and can just body dudes like it's no tomorrow, come on. Like, instead of Wakanda, it should have been called the Men, because they was not there, they were not present, and the ones that was there was weak. But all the women that was in the movie was brolic, built, strong Hercules.
I definitely agree with this. I'm remembering the scene where, you know, the gorilla people was holding the ropes while the women were
that's it, right.
The Jabari tribe.
Yeah. Gorilla people.
Jabari, they made Ubaku. Oh my god.
Yeah.
They
nerfed them. And you ever notice how only one person is eating a heart-shaped herb? It's like you synthesize it. Why don't you give it to each and every single person that's fighting?
I mean, especially when you're trying to defend your whole nation to get some like super, like basically superhuman people though. At this point, so you only got 2 suits, but you got a whole mountain of vibranium, but you only got 2 suits. It's just like
exactly. And who do you give it to? Like, you could give the suit to M'Baku, somebody who's strong, and make him stronger, you know, or you can give it to this random new chick. Because remember the random new chick that they put into
Riri.
Yeah.
It's just not. It doesn't make no sense to me, because I'm trying to understand. I'm like, all right, you a technologically advanced society, but all you got is melee weapons. When you really think about it, that's all they had.
Tradition was kind of the downfall in a way, and I think T'Challa was going to move them towards some outside of.
They had ships that actually could shoot stuff, right? So we know they have the capability to have projectile weapons, but the overall necessarily outfit of the army is melee weapons.
No, this is true. Like, and the funny thing is that those same melee weapons can shoot. So instead of shooting off the side of the boat, you know, like picking them off as they try to fight uphill, instead they decide to repel off the side and
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I think that's the way T'Challa was going to move Wakanda until his untimely death. But I think, with the whole Vibranium and him seeing, especially after dealing with Thanos' ass, I think he definitely was like, yeah, we're
Hey,
going to have to.
I had a quick. So this is my thing, right? I know that the Wakandan technology and advancements, they try to lace their primitive weapons and try to upgrade their primitive weapons. It's kind of like giving Tony Stark a musket. Like if Tony Stark were to advance a musket, but it still wouldn't be that flashy. Like that's just my thing.
No, I mean I understand traditionalism, like okay, you want to fight with a musket, but you give it like a turbo laser, so and that's what Wakanda essentially is. But the brother was right when he said the projectile thing, because even though they had the lasers, they didn't use them.
Like they had a whole tribe who had for my thing. I was looking for this tribe with the shield.
That's what I'm saying. Well, no, it's too much testosterone.
Oh, they're in prison. Remember?
Like that, I didn't see none of them. I'm like, so
no, they wasn't in prison when they were fighting Thanos' army.
Cloak and warp thing. What's the thing he had?
I'm talking about Black Panther. Yeah, they locked up half of them. They didn't have all of them because that whole.
No, but the arm, no, because they were there during the Thanos War, and that was
Infinity War. Yeah, he was.
They were there in Infinity War.
No, I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying a good amount of them due to the treason in Black Panther.
I get it, but none of them were there in this battle.
None of them.
Hey, look, I ain't excusing that. You're right. I was looking for the rhinos too.
I
was like, yo, where the rhinos at?
I mean, can we get some giraffes so y'all can have the height advantage or some shit? I don't know. It just didn't make no sense. When they went out and fought New Folk in the water, in the back of my head, I'm like, bitch, like this is where they live at. Like, I just couldn't get over that part. I'm like, bitch, this is where they live at. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so Daryl said that the mother didn't let that slide. Well, more fool her. So she's dead. And for whatever reason, you locked up your army during wartime. You're stupid.
Well, to be fair, I mean, would you really trust a treasonous person to fight on your side like a Killmonger?
No.
They did.
You gotta misunderstand. That's not how society works.
Wait. They did though. They did in Infinity War and Endgame. They trusted them. Like
again, not all of that clan was in on that treasonous shit. That's what I'm saying.
It's not treason when they were following orders. It's not even treason.
Following orders. You're right.
It was over the laws of the land.
Orders. Listen, you whoop somebody's ass, they got dethroned. That person is your king.
No. Before Killmonger took the seat, remember he had sided with him.
No, he got him into the. No, remember he brought him into the into the council. Though he didn't change no size or nothing until Killmonger won. Remember?
Right, he did. And guess what? I'm gonna add on to that. I'm gonna add on to this. T'Challa failed the Brigand Claw. He failed that. He wasn't unfit to be king. 2. And then he didn't get the people's trust, whatever like that. He was supposed to keep a promise. He didn't keep the promise of Claw killing his people. What did Killmonger do? He brought in the dude. He fought T'Challa fair and square, and he got one of the people's respect, the men side of respect instead of the women's side. They cheated. They cheated and they dethroned him. They did him dirty in the movie. They didn't respect him because he was vengeful. He wasn't he was a killer. He was vengeful. That's the thing. He did the right thing, and then he spoke the language of his people, and he had the mark, and it still wasn't enough. It's like doing Kevin Samuels. He told the truth. People called him bad names, all that stuff because he was telling the truth. And then now what? He passed away. Now what? People they want him back again. Same thing with Killmonger. This one, they want him back. They want.
So I got a question.
Another thing I want to point out about then we'll go to Daryl. Another thing I want to point out about Killmonger's death is that he was just stabbed regular, just like Shuri was, but Shuri was stabbed like deep, and the spear came out the other side of her spine and stuff.
It was through her spine, bro. I just can't.
Yeah, as a paramedic. Exactly. But Killmonger died, and she didn't. He just got a basic knife, but she got like the whole. She got like the whole cut in half and shit.
To be fair, he took himself out.
You got it there,
bro. She should have died.
So I was about to say, So what happened in Infinity War and all of that, those was on the orders of King T'Challa, who in the story, even Killmonger said he was a noble person. He let the man who murdered his father live, right? So he wasn't really about that type of that kind of action. He only moved with violence when necessary.
Well, wait, defend this right.
Hold on. I got you. So when it came
to, I agree with you. I'm saying I agree with you. That's what I'm saying.
When it came down to the new movie, Queen Ramonda, after those tribesmen, not only did they support Killmonger, Adore Milaje died that day fighting Killmonger with their support, right? But they also destroyed the Black Panther. The Black Panther is a part of 5 tribes in Wakanda. Destroying that heart-shaped herb did not affect the rest of those tribes the way that it affected the Black Panther. Not only that, that cut off her only ability to talk to her husband. They had no other way to speak with the dead. Not only that, that is a direct connection to their religion, the Bas religion, the Panther goddess religion. So cutting off that tribe wasn't nothing else except saying that not only have you betrayed Wakanda, but you have betrayed the Black Panther tribe and betrayed our religion, basically. That's why that tribe wasn't there. It had nothing to do with feminism or nothing like that. And then as far as the men not being in the movie, I thought that was ridiculous for Courtney to say, because at the end, Shuri didn't even show up for the throne fight. She knew that M'Baku, and everybody knows this, M'Baku was obviously going to become king because nobody was going to be able to challenge him without the Panther juice inside them. Nobody. And Wakanda can fight him one-on-one. So I think that it was actually just a story of a young lady mourning from the beginning to the end. She was mourning T'Challa, and how she handled it, I think, was very brilliant. You know what I'm saying? From tipping those balances between Killmonger and her and the mom, because she could have killed Namor with ease. But the mom
how
man,
she have killed Namor with ease?
Namor, dude.
Well, no,
all
explain how
right. So let me explain it, because in Namor's own words, the Black Panther could have killed me. She let me live to be an ally to Wakanda, right? That's what he said at the end. And I imagine that because when he was weakened on the beach, right, she had the spear to his neck, and he had yielded because.
Oh, you're talking about at that point, but it wasn't with ease to get him to that point. So you don't think that there was a lot of sensationalism going on in this movie that favored Black women?
But like, he had her pinned to a rock, bro. If he wanted to kill her, bro, he could have just ripped her in half, man.
Yeah, because he could have killed, and he has a point, because he could have killed her with ease too. Like after he stabbed her through her entire spine, after he impaled her, he could have just just to make sure, I'm going to twist your neck. So, I mean, do you think that there was a lot of sensationalism to the favor of women, and that they were making excuses to have?
So I'm gonna say this because I really read the comic. I'm a big Marvel fan. I have all the comics, all the different stuff. Namor understands, in which he vocalized in the movie. Neither one of our nations can survive the coming onslaught of the rest of the world trying to destroy our nations, which is the whole point of him attacking Wakanda in the first place. So I don't believe he wanted to kill Shuri. Never. I don't believe he never wanted to kill Shuri. I believe.
What are you talking about, bro?
Hold on.
Wait. But you're talking about the comics. Namor doesn't even interact with Wakanda. Namor interacts with
Wakanda. What do you mean?
Hold on. In the comics, he literally fights T'Challa. That's inaccurate.
Yeah, he drowned Wakanda.
He does the same thing he did in the
technically, Namor.
Okay, my bad.
Namor.
So let me get back
Namor
to
in the
that.
modern.
I don't believe he wanted to kill the Black Panther, because this aligning yourself with Wakanda, and you got to remember, there's other heroes in other countries, right? You attack America, now what happened? Now you got the Avengers on your ass. Now you got Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. You're not going to win those battles alone, right? Not to mention you have the super villains. You have Doctor Doom. These people are coming. You have Kang the Conqueror. These people are coming, and they're going to want vibranium, right? So in order to fight those guys, Doctor Doom specifically, you need Wakanda. You're going to need Wakanda, and that's why they kind of hinted at that in the future. She's going to need us as well, because Wakanda will also be under siege very much soon, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
that's why I think
a cute way of thinking about it.
Until
you understand the fact that he came over there, blew up half the goddamn village, and killed the queen, bro.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. It makes sense
Like-
to that point, right? It's like you're destroying the thing that you need.
See what I'm saying? So like that's what I'm saying. It sounds cute necessarily if you just spin reality once again necessarily, but no.
It can't be a get down or lay down thing, because if you need them, then why would you destroy them? Like that defeats the whole purpose.
You know what's funny? Ain't it funny that?
Damn it, Classy.
Okay.
All right, let me play the rest of this.
You know what's funny?
Hey, I got a question for the panel. I got a question.
Yeah, let me play the rest of this, and then we'll go to your question.
All right.
What is this saying to us? Perpetuating the idea of the strong Black woman and a subservient Black effeminate man. I just think it's disgusting. I'm completely upset by the movie. And man, if this Kyrie Irving didn't teach me anything, it's when you put your life career in the hands of other people that don't look like you, then they can make you do whatever they want you to do. And this movie does not represent what African culture is. It doesn't represent what our culture is to be. So, now I'm good on all the men.
All right. So outside of being a little corny with the whole, Wakanda thing, I get her point, and I watched the movie because of that. And she's right. It was trash, and it was a blatant over promotion of Black women, while at the same time showing Black men in a helpmate role. When they literally when you are literally holding the rope so your women can fight, you are a helpmate at that point. And your role in the movie is the same as they could have just put like a post and tied the rope to that, but instead they had you do it. So that is the Black man's contribution to the Wakandan military.
And think about it. GameChanger, I'm about to make breakfast, but I'm gonna say this before I got here. As far as, because I agree with the point you made as far as the battle scenes exactly, but as far as men submitting to a queen, I think that's ridiculous if that's what Courtney was trying to say, because we just watched the Queen of England pass away, who was very much revered and loved by every general and captain that was beneath her, and they would have happily submitted to her. They would have happily
protecting someone.
that she asked.
Well, I mean, okay, England is no longer a monarchy, and it hasn't been for generations now. She's a symbol head. She's a figurehead. Now, they are willing to die to protect that figure. However, willing to protect something and submitting to its leadership are two completely different things. So we have to be clear on that. They weren't under England is not a monarch, and it most certainly isn't a matriarchy. So yeah, I mean, when they were a monarchy, they had a couple of generations where the King Henry in particular, attempted desperately, and I mean desperately, to have a son that lived, and he didn't. So therefore, Elizabeth became the de facto queen with no other options whatsoever. However,
that's fact.
Yeah. With
Game
no
changer.
other
Let me say this real quick
whatsoever.
though.
However, right quick. However, the concept of men comfortably willing to submit to women is not a historical norm. So that's not the case. Especially, and we got to think about Wakandan culture, where single combat determines the ruler, and she didn't engage in single combat with anybody.
Right.
Oh man, like I mean,
let me say,
they have a warrior culture, like the Panther with I think what is it?
But let me get this real quick.
All right, go ahead.
All right, fellas, I'll be in the chat.
All right, thanks.
But I will say this. This goes back to the point of they were missing the male logical dominant king presence throughout the movie, because like y'all said earlier, in Infinity War and in the first Black Panther movie, they chose to strategically fight them where it benefited them. And then on top of that, like y'all said, why would they have to fight where a person's main resource and power source is the water? Because if you guys know Namor, the Submariner, he can only be on the surface for a limited amount of time. He wasn't able to be just like DC's Aquaman, he was limited to amount of time that he could be on the surface, and then he has to go back in the water. And then the other thing too, we all get that in the comic lore for a bit. The only reason why Shuri was even a Black Panther and took the mantle was because for two reasons. T'Challa was either in a coma or he was out with the Avengers taking care of other stuff that was bigger, that was global scale or galactic scale. So that's why she had to take over from time to time. But even then, she didn't have the mantle for a long time. It was actually another male presence, because I remember in T'Challa, he had a brother or a cousin that took over, and then not even including his son later. And then obviously and then the whole story arc where it was supposed to introduce Storm. They could have introduced mutants. They could have introduced the X-Men, since they already had
they did introduce
Namor. No, but what I mean is more of the X-Men when it came to them, because we only got to see Professor X in Doctor Strange, but they wanted to do a spin-off in Miss Marvel where she's a mutant, but she's not technically a mutant. She's considered an inhuman. So they threw that shit out and they messed it up with that stuff. Now you have this issue. So I don't know where it's going to go from here. They want to make some sense of it, but it's just for the future to decide.
And you know what I was going to say earlier? I find it funny that in Infinity War, Thanos came to destroy Wakanda. This is the first time Wakanda got destroyed. He invaded Wakanda. He destroyed Wakanda when Chadwick Boseman was present and got killed. This movie, he dies. He died like what, 3 times? He Killmonger almost killed him. Thanos killed him.
The Thanos one you can't claim that one, bro.
No, he got that one.
The snap kills anybody randomly at will necessarily. You can't really
that's really anything goes kill. Like everybody caught an L on that.
Yeah, you can't really give him that one.
He still got killed though. He still got
you can't give not you can't. It snap random people at all over the world, all over the planet. You can't really you can't call it out in the loss, bro.
Right.
Not like that.
Even though it was random, he still got killed. He still got snapped. He still got snapped out of existence.
But I call it a loss. I call it a loss. You lead your army, to defeat somebody, and then you fail to do that. You lost.
Okay, we call it a loss then, right?
Okay, yeah. And now he's sick. He dies again, and Wakanda is invaded by Namor. So this is how this is
people dying of sickness in Wakanda though. Like that was
to be fair. T'Challa died in real life. Come on.
No, I get that. I get that. I know that they're trying to write around that, but
they get that far now. I don't want to get that far. But
no,
they were trying to write around this.
Yeah, he was saying that.
They could have had this entire story arc take place during the snap.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And then because then what that does is that's like, okay, we got this out of the way. Now let's bring back another T'Challa.
Low key, GC. I think that probably was the plan before COVID. I honestly believe that, because remember the Black Panther 2 was supposed to come out around that time, but COVID happened, so everything got pushed back.
No matter what, it was. I mean, but no, they didn't have to do it in that time period. They could just say that this story.
No, that's what I'm saying.
What Wakanda was doing during that 5-year period.
They
didn't have to say he came back and then was killed by disease. That's what
hold on. Someone remind me, how long? What was the difference in time between the snap and everyone coming back? Was it 3 years? 5?
And if anyone,
it was 5 years. Because even in the MCU shows, they even said that the Falcon and Winter Soldier and the WandaVision and stuff. They even explained it.
So it was 5 years from Infinity War to Endgame. The end of Endgame.
Okay. What I'm saying,
I'm
saying is during that 5-year period is when they could have had this whole Namor war.
Yep.
And then they could say then T'Challa comes back and everything gets back in line, and then he marries Storm and leaves that Letitia bitch in Haiti.
Yeah. Like honestly, I felt like. Oh, I'm sorry.
What were you saying? No, that's what they could have wrote. That's what I would have wrote.
No, GameChanger. You know that shit wrote. When the snap happened, that's when the invasion of Namor came in and
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Shuri had nobody but Killmonger in prison, and had temporarily as the Black Panther, and he would have fought that. I would have been okay with that. They should have just like, oh, we didn't know Killmonger is killed or not, or he was in prison the whole time. We didn't want nobody to know.
That's what I said. I said, man, Ryan Coogler should have not made sure that, hey, the writers do not kill off Killmonger. Just put him in jail, prison.
Just put him in prison.
Because remember, in the Civil War in Captain America, they had that prison in the middle of the sea called the Raft.
Yeah. Yep.
He gave him respect. Like, no. Like, remember, Killmonger said, "Just go ahead and let me die, because I don't want to be in jail." But
no, he should have. No. You know what? They should. But the thing is, they should just wrote that in mysterious. And it's like, oh, they could have fooled us and say, oh, he's dead, and like, oh, whoever this person is in prison, it would have been like a mystery. It would have been like a blow up. You know what I mean? Like a mystery blow up of who's the person in prison. Oh, this person is Killmonger, and this is the last hope in person that was T'Challa's cousin, and he has the fighting skills and technology and so he's more aggressive though. So
no, that would have been a better story. Yeah,
that would have been a better story. That would have been a better
story overall. Because then it's like a redemption arc for Killmonger. Then it's like, oh, okay, you know.
And then guess what? And then when they won that fight, they were like, oh, we can't let you win Wakanda, but you can go to some other villains or something like that and build your own society, whatever like that. But we can't let you in. And he just walked away and just like, okay, fuck it. So
he would have been king. Fuck that shit, nigga.
No. Because you know what? They don't. You know why?
Wasn't gonna let that happen, man.
They won't let them do that because he was there for temporary support, and then they will let him go somewhere else to build his own society because they still
don't rock like that. You know that.
I'm saying, bro, like you play like for it, bro. He was already He was already king. He had already won the right to be. No, you gotta remember, he already had won the right to be king already.
It could be clarity. It could be clarity.
And he's from the royal bloodline.
I know.
So like that don't even make no sense. And then he helped you win the war, and you talking about no, he can't be king. Man, fuck that.
Yeah, right. He gonna kill everybody in the suit. I wish I would try to tell me I gotta go somewhere.
Nah, you know what? You know why I said that? Because they probably would keep him Wakanda, but probably somewhere else, like have his own land somewhere.
I would agree if Killmonger didn't prove that, yo, I'm ready to add more marks to my chest.
Hey,
I'll kill all of y'all in here.
Hey, they might change the character. Like he probably might have a heart. He probably like he a villain. He's still a villain, but he probably used to have a heart. Like, you know what? I ain't gonna tell right.
Look, I had hope for that in the what if, but he even murked them now. I'm like, oh yeah, ain't no hope for Killmonger, man.
Oh yeah, boy, you bought that actually to the max, man.
You can't trust him in no multiverse, man.
He probably because you know what? Because what got him was the truth. The truth was getting to him too much. It was overwhelming him, and that's why he was like that. But over time, 5 years. Come on, 5 years in prison. 5 years.
Man, it's too greedy, man.
5 years in prison. Like he probably got a cool head, a clean slate. Trying to get a clean slate. Probably trying to go out somewhere to other parts of Wakanda and just try to build his own civilization because that's what he did.
But you need people to follow you. Come on, but like how many? I mean, like he
got the people. He got his followers. He got his followers. Remember, he had his followers. The people
he had that one clan, so he got that group at least.
Yeah, it could work. It could work.
The only person that followed him, the reason that the tribe followed him because the person who led the tribe necessarily fuck with him because he brought that dude Claw Body. He brought Claw Body back. Remember?
Oh shit, you're right.
So that's the only reason.
Wakanda and the Border Tribe. Well, the Border Tribe followed Wakanda, and Wakanda followed him because he's a competent leader and he is the rightful king.
Yep.
Let's be clear. You defeat the king in single combat, and even if he lives, basically T'Challa cheated.
Yes, he did.
He cheated because nobody is supposed to interfere. So when that fisherman fished him out the water and gave him the heart-shaped herb, you cheated.
Yes, and also got jumped. GameChanger. He also got jumped.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so technically, he is technically the rightful king and should be put in the throne, and he's of the royal bloodline. Ain't no way in fucking hell you gonna tell this motherfucker go sit in the back after he go win the war for you. Fuck that.
Right.
That's why I feel like they're gonna write that part off. Like if That's what like, okay, he's still a villain, so he can't be the rightful throne, but he can own a part of this land in Wakanda right here. And the Wakabi
all right. Here's what you do, Josh. Here's how you write, because I know you want to write Killmonger back in, right? Here's how Ryan Coogler should have wrote him back in. Killmonger said, bury me at sea. What's at sea? Namor. And Namor has unknown technology. Namor takes the body of Killmonger, resurrects him using fish magic, and now Killmonger is back in the thing. Now Killmonger is back in the mix.
Right.
Well, he couldn't stay on the surface, though, if he did get revived in the sea, because he'd be Atlantean.
Well, I mean, if fish magic, that's the way it works.
Fish magic, bro. Like,
remember, they have to have, outside of Namor, you needed a water mask.
Fish magic, bro.
No, but he wasn't born fish man. He was born human, but they used fish magic too.
He was mutant.
But
I'm talking about Killmonger.
I'll say this, they should have did if in the Wakanda, they should have been helped. They should have been like, oh, we got a prisoner in captive, and they don't say who it is, who was a prisoner. Oh, we're like, oh, who's a prisoner? It would have been White Wolf. It would have been what's his name? It would have been anybody else. We wouldn't know who was a prisoner that was in there that wouldn't let out. They could have wrote that shit out too, and they would have been like, oh, Wakanda's attacked. We got like this prisoner out, but we don't like this prisoner though. He terrorized the village and stuff like that. And it would have been Killmonger that came out the prison cell, whatever like that. And they wanted him to fight beside him and shit like that. As a temporary.
Honestly, they did Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, right? They could have cleaned up for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. They could have just had another dimensional T'Challa, right? Maybe he lost his. Let's say they played out that part where Wakanda got destroyed or flooded. That T'Challa comes over, figures out the T'Challa of this multiverse died, and then he kind of uses that to redeem himself.
Like one of the What If T'Challas, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, What If? That was a good ass show. What If GameChanger? I gotta watch the rest of that.
Yeah, that shit is fire. They got a season 2 coming out.
Yeah.
They referenced it a little bit with the third eye one, but they didn't go full. I blame Disney because Disney came in because it was supposed to be like rated R, but Disney said no, we can't do that.
That's hypocritical because Deadpool 3 coming out with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds.
I know, man, because if you knew about some of the scenes Raimi had, man, I'm like, oh yeah, that was the Multiverse of Madness we needed.
Did you call him Hugh Jackman?
I was
gonna say pause on that.
Nah, man.
I was like, nah, Wolverine, God, he's my favorite one.
Hugh Jackman. Nah.
All right, right quick, fellas. So Marco says, why they wear white at funerals? Don't like black. I mean, they just saying that they have a different culture. I touched on that earlier.
Nah,
that's just their way of just trying to stand out from Western culture. That's all.
I'm gonna say the reason there because how these. I don't know. It's when you start really looking at quote unquote like how people in the conscious community, but they love wearing they white. They be like, yeah, it spiritualizes the soul necessarily leaving the body and shit. Like I ran into a whole bunch of them kind of sisters, right? They like that's what they like to do for some reason. But in Africa,
they just want to stand out,
multicolored stuff, man.
They just want to stand out and have
hashtag surviving Hugh Jackman.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you what I was gonna say, but all I was saying my original statement was Wakanda got invaded twice, man. Thanos and Namor, man. This shit ain't.
Thanos not gonna accept that loss, bro.
Right.
To
be fair with Infinity War, right? He originally had no way to get in, right? He had no way to get in, but damn, someone remind me, what was told to Black Panther where they said, I think they were digging under? What had happened?
No. They were literally overpowering the shield by just sending so many bodies at it. Like, but you gotta understand, like, it's different with necessarily because Thanos necessarily is a galactic threat, though.
But guess what though? Who led them to Wakanda though? Steve Richardson fucking Wanda with the fucking robot. Oh, we need your help.
Bitch, you took that shit to America.
You ain't coming up in here. You ain't
exactly because you took that shit to America, bitch. You ain't doing this shit over here, bro.
Yeah, you ain't coming over here. You ain't going. I told somebody.
You and your fish chips, get the hell over there.
Right. Because now everybody knows now what the fuck to go to now. No.
Nah, exactly, bro.
Like, coming up in Wakanda and fucking up whoever that big purple ass motherfucker was. Go over there. You could have went to Iron Man for that shit.
Oh yeah.
You could have went the Iron Man for that.
I think that was kind of like I think the main reason even Thanos won is because everybody was separated. No one wanted to like fight together.
Yeah, I mean,
which is a genius.
But check this out though, real quick, because about Riri. If you guys remember in Civil War, when Iron Man was doing his homework on Peter Parker had also had experience in MIT as well. So they can make a connection with that, saying Riri, Peter Parker, if they ever meet up or they ever hear about each other. And you got
Future Foundation.
And you got to remember too that one kid that Iron Man left back, Iron Man 3. When you see him in Endgame in the funeral, he's all grown up. He's tall, lanky kid. That little kid right there, he's still around, and they might want to introduce him into the frame too for the Young Avengers and stuff.
What you just said. You just gave me a prediction. Now, what happens if Spider-Man 4 comes out and Riri Williams meeting MIT and Spider-Man and Riri might date each other?
I don't know about that.
They might put that interracial swirl mixing in that motherfucker, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, Spider-Man dating.
I was like, man,
you just made me think about that shit. I was like, wait.
Oh man, I'm done.
Yeah, man. Shit, man. Y'all damn.
But you gotta remember
I got
too,
a question
though,
for the panel.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yo, how'd y'all feel about the part where the general Okoye, when she was in trouble after losing Shuri?
Yeah,
and she tried to plead to the queen about how her situation, how it got fucked up. She was surprised by the Atlanteans, and she wanted to make that plea about her giving her entire life to the kingdom. And then the queen kind of like read her on that situation. I was like, yo, she got you dead to rights.
Yeah, when she brought up that hit, I was like, oh shit. I was like, that sure did happen to the queen, man. She you can't say much after that.
Right.
I mean, no, but you got to understand the queen that played it first. It's two things that don't make sense in that scenario. All right, the princess is going. You only send one guard. That don't make no sense, man. And then secondly, bro, like you as the queen, as the person who has the final say. That's what you got to understand as the quote unquote, as the head ruler. Everything you say and do is the final say. Ain't nobody do stuff without your approval, right? So if your daughter necessarily go get killed, it is sad and it is regrettable or whatnot, right? But you are the one who's ultimately in charge, right? So you're the one who is ultimately in charge. That falls upon you, though. So it's like
I don't see why they sent anybody to protect this girl.
Like I said, it didn't make no sense in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, because somebody says, hey, we have an army, we're going to attack you. It's like, so if you lose one life to protect this one girl, then you're saying that life is more important or that girl's life is more important than whatever life that gave itself.
Man, it don't even make sense because Wakanda, the nature of Wakanda is fuck everybody else. I don't care about Wakanda.
Exactly.
Right? So
exactly.
That's been their policy for basically goddamn thousands
until the end of Black Panther 1, right?
But even then, right. But and that's because Letitia, had his nose open, but
what's up with you and Letitia, man? What's up?
Well, no, he was cut. He was cut by Letitia. And
you talking about T'Challa? You talking about T'Challa?
Yeah, you talking about T'Challa.
Bro, you didn't notice that?
Wait a minute. Have y'all seen?
She was the one that convinced him to open up Wakanda to the rest of the world and basically just end thousands of years of tradition that has kept them safe.
Right.
And then the moment that happened, they became vulnerable.
Now
you got people popping out to sea like, hey, you done fucked up. You gave up our secret.
Wait. But hold on. But to be fair too, though, like nobody could stop what Thanos was planning because Thanos was planning this since even before. And but Thanos still attacked Wakanda, though. To be fair,
he wouldn't have known.
No, I'm not talking about Thanos. I'm talking about this new attack. This new attack came because Namor said that because you let the secret of Vibranium go. Now people are looking for Vibranium and they at my backyard.
Right. I mean, to be fair though, I think we would have had a whole different movie if Chadwick didn't pass away. So
I'm saying,
clearly.
Listen. Wright is my people.
MCU path would have changed drastically if he didn't pass.
Ryan is my people. He's from the Bay. You know, we have.
Oh, you're from the Bay too, GC? Me too.
Yo, that's what's up. So he's my people. Fruitvale Station. Listen, I am never gonna take anything away from that man. This just was not his best thing. You know, one thing, yeah, he probably would have did a lot better if Chadwick was alive. I think that he was just given parameters.
Yeah, I think he was given parameters. It don't even make sense. Like,
and I think that he did the best he could with the parameters that he was given, and they told him to do crap like throw in an American black woman.
Man, you know who could have said the movie though? If they put him in there, if you put Hugh Jackman in there, it would be a huge difference. You know.
Well, he would, he would, exactly.
Hey, you know what? I don't know, but you need to check your boy over here. He talking about they better than men on this goddamn article right here I'm looking at right now. He's saying that goofy ass shit.
Man, he getting paid to say this, bro. Like they said, but it's a $500,000 check, bro. Say exactly what we tell you to say.
And you gotta remember too, Black Panther, the first Black Panther made like $1.5 billion.
Yeah, when mind you, didn't even think it was going to make even that. I don't even think thought it was going to make like 500 at the time before it released.
Yeah, I mean, it made like no. I think it made like 600 or 700 million in the U.S. alone. So when it went overseas, and then it made another 6 or so.
I think it made 700 domestically, and then 1.5 or 1.3 worldwide. Something crazy like that.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something else though. With the back, who said about Thanos going to listen? Thanos would never know if Wanda and fucking goddamn Vision never went to Wakanda, and still he wouldn't never have known. Thanos would never know where that place was. That's why I'm saying.
I mean, it wouldn't even make no sense. He won't snap the whole bitch.
They were able to track Vision. They would have just snapped earlier.
Yeah, they would have snapped anyway. So.
They would have just snapped earlier.
Right.
So on that one, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like when you
without the
different, bro.
Without the gemstone, he can't snap without that stone, that Vision on his head. So he couldn't have snapped it already. He couldn't have snapped earlier.
I mean, he could have found Vision.
The moment he got that time stone, it was a wrap.
The time stone is the big
difference. But what I'm saying, no, but if he would have destroyed it before they got the time stone, then that's that.
Hold on, GC. Remember, they were able to track that stone. He was able to track stones for a long time.
No. Because hold on. Remember,
I'm saying though, they should have destroyed Vision's stone first.
He still would have been able to rewind time. The moment he got that.
No, he wouldn't have. If they would have destroyed it, instead of for taking him to Wakanda, then he would not have been able to rewind.
To be fair, GC,
let me rock. Hold on, GC. Remember, in Endgame, they were able to track when he snapped the second time to destroy the stones. Correct? They would have just tracked when that stone exploded, went to that spot, rewinded as far back as possible, and then grabbed it. It would have been easy.
Listen. He cannot rewind time before the point to when he achieved the stone. Meaning he can't rewind time to before when he had the time stone.
You see, he can go as far as he can until he dies. Remember when?
He cannot.
Remember the previous Sorcerer Supreme couldn't see past her own death.
Huh?
Remember when the Sorcerer Supreme, when she had the stone?
That's the future. I'm talking about you can't rewind time.
But she could also see multiple timelines.
Listen,
no,
you can't.
And Doctor Strange was able to see over 1 million different possibilities.
Okay. Well, let's put it like this. This is the future again. I'm saying you can't go back in the past before the point that you had the time stone. That's what I'm saying.
So there's a cap on how far you can go, basically, right? So you can only go as far as to
how far back you can go.
Possession of the stone, man.
Exactly. So that's the limit. Exactly. So like if I get this, say I got this stone on Halloween, I can't go back to the 4th of July. That is the point that I can go back to Halloween.
I don't know about that one, man. The stones are powerful for a reason. I mean, we're talking about the Tesseract was able to teleport. What's his name?
Let's put it like this. Why don't Doctor Strange go back in time and kill Thanos as a baby?
Literally, he thought about that. Remember they talked about that?
Damn, baby deletion.
He talked about that. He saw all the timelines, over 1 million plus.
Yeah, why not go like? Yeah, exactly.
They thought about it. I think they even joked about it.
He did say that.
They joked about it in Endgame.
in Infinity War, he did say that right before he does the snap. He was saying about what percentage, what chances are that we make it. He said, "I'd say like 150 million, and then we lose, but there's only one shot we get." And then he mentions the end game in the Infinity War before they did the title of the next movie, and so that's when the Russo brothers thought with that title for Endgame and Kevin Feige. So once they did that, they're like, "All right, fine, we do it." So my thing is, the Infinity Stones in Marvel lore is supposed to be some of the most powerful when it comes to individual items and artifacts. So that's why the time stone you don't technically have a limited amount of time how far you can go back. It just so happens that they use it when they want to use it. So Thanos, I think honestly, even if you GC, even if you say, hey, if they would have wiped that stone out a day or 2 days earlier or a month earlier, he would have just kept rewinding to the point where he got the stone regardless.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to tell DC. The
The
stones are powerful as hell. That's what it's so coveted.
Then Doctor Strange would have used it in a different way. He could go to before the age of Ultron and go back and warn all of the Avengers.
He could, but he didn't. He could have, but he didn't.
Hold on, GC. In Infinity War, you don't think he thought about going to the past to change the future? He had over 1 million.
And remember, the ancient one taught him to not do that kind of stuff.
Right, and we saw what happens in What If when you start using the time stone over and over. You get possessed, and you can destroy the multiverse or your own universe. So like this all has been talked about. There's a reason why you don't abuse the stones.
That's not an option then. Like
I mean, no, it's an option. It's an option, but it's a trade-off. So you may take back one bad thing, but another bad thing happens instead.
Then it's not an option. That's like saying I'm gonna cut off my hand, but then I lose my entire arm and leg in the process. Like that's not an option at that point, man.
It's an option. It's just an option. But no, hold on. It's an option, but an option that has a domino effect. It's like I pass away, but you live. But if you pass away, I live. It's a loss regardless.
No. Think about it, right? If you use the time stone, right, necessarily, right, and the problem is when you use the time stone too much is basically you destroy the multiverse, right? So that basically means
you're messing up the natural balance and order of things too, because you do know.
Hold on. Let me finish. Right. So if you kill this one person, right, who does wipe out half the world, right? But then if I use the time stone to stop this person, I lose the entire multiverse. What? You cut off your head. You cut off your hand to cut off your head. You see what I'm saying? It didn't make no sense. You know what I mean? No, it still made no sense.
But you got to understand something. You got to understand. For example, Loki's TVA in the show Loki. There's a thing called the time authority. This is the TVA, and you also got the cosmic entities, or like basically like gods, like the creators of all. Some of them are fate, destiny, eternity. They are the ones that are keeping the natural order and balance of things. And to be honest, all these villains that have been thrown at the heroes weren't technically supposed to win all these fights or these battles, or most of them. It just so happens that the heroes were able to overcome and overmatch them and over strategize these villains. So that's why all these cosmic beings, like the ones you saw in Thor 4, when they popped up, or when you saw other stuff, when you see the Guardians movies and stuff and their lore, they were supposed to be the ones to kind of reestablish the balance. That's why when Thanos did what he did, it was to, like, that's why he kept saying, reset the balance and stuff and wipe it out. So that's why when he thought, hey, I'm gonna wipe out half the galaxy, it'll set things right in a certain course. So that's why I say it kind of falls on your point because of that.
You cut off your finger, but then you
it's still on the finger thing, bro.
You don't make no. You still in the worst position, man. That's what I'm saying. Like so it really ain't a fucking option. If I apply this, if to stop this one person, I gotta cut off my hand. But if I cut off my hand necessarily to stop this person, I end up.
What is up with you and limb dismemberment?
You still in the worst position. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying, bro. It still don't make no sense. Like you still basically capped. You only had one option, which was the option that he chose, right? Out of a million options, he only had one option.
No, you have the option. Like, let's not say that. It just maybe not be an option you like. However, like I said, for every action, there's a reaction, right?
The multiverse collapse. Okay. Stop talking to be right, but just think about it. If you collapse the multiverse, which is everybody else in it necessarily, you still lost the fight. Ultimately, correct.
Well, in the multiverse,
just answer that question correct. If you collect the whole multiverse,
you talking about the multiverse?
If the whole if you use the time stone too many times, or you misuse it, right, and the whole multiverse collapse, did you solve your problem? Did you make your problem worse?
You made the problem worse.
All right then.
Yes, because that person was supposed to pass away. Remember, the Dr. Palmer was supposed to pass away. Like I said, you have the option. It's just the option you may not like or how it made you feel.
Like I said, I'm gonna stand on that point, bro. If you gotta cut off your hand, that's to say, but to cut off your hand.
Well, again, you're talking about dismemberment of an arm, and then somehow you lose your leg. That's not an actual strong point.
Okay, man. Okay.
All right.
We'll go ahead and go though, man. Thank you.
Yeah, we're about to wrap up anyway, fellas. So, any closing thoughts? Any last words? Y'all go in any order you want.
Nah, I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate being up on the panel. It was actually a cool conversation. I'm not gonna forget the Hugh Jackman part. Whoever said that earlier, but I'm gonna carry it for the next one.
You're not gonna let that go.
I'm definitely gonna appreciate that. Watch it, especially in Deadpool 3. I'm gonna tag people and say, "I'm gonna watch this Hugh Jackman guy." But yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Gotta pause a lot with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, talk to your man. Talk to your man. I'm just playing. Okay. No, I appreciate y'all. GC, I don't get a chance to come on your panel that much, but I do listen to you. I've been subscribed to you for a bit, and y'all keep rocking out. I appreciate y'all. Even the gentleman next to me with the want to cut off his arm and then the left, how somehow you lose it like gangrene. But I appreciate you all, and I respect, man. That's it.
Okay, appreciate you. All right, anybody else?
I'll say this, man. I hope Ryan Coogler would make. I hope it gets better, man. I hope.
Hey, this is just one. I mean, that article that you had, that's real bad. But this is just one.
You got Creed 3 coming up, man.
Yeah. Let's look forward to Creed 3.
Yeah.
The third one. Oh, he's working on Creed 3. Is he working?
Yeah, the trailer came out a little while ago. It's coming out in March.
The British dude he's going against the British guy.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. I just hope 3. Just please, if 3 ain't, I'm bootlegging it. If it ain't, I'm bootlegging the movie.
Nah, I'm gonna give him my bread.
I go with support.
I cannot. Yeah. This is this gonna be like Woman King Part 3?
No, I ain't gonna do that,
man. This is the only time he did something like this. Come on,
right? Yeah, I remember it's extenuating circumstances that made him make this.
Outcome comes out. If it comes out to be true, I'm not watching it, man. I'm bootlegging it.
All right, fair enough.
All right, well, he did all the other Creeds, and they wasn't nothing like this. So
no, he didn't do 2. He didn't do 2.
Yeah, he didn't do 2. He did 1. He skipped 2 because I think he worked on Black Panther at the time.
Oh, okay.
So,
3. I think he working on 3, right?
Yeah, he is on 3.
All right, good. All right, yeah. That's all I gotta say. I hope. That's all. So, peace, y'all.
Peace. All right. Any final words, bro?
Yeah, GC, man. I was just, I was in the comments, man. I know that my words were coming out wrong. It was autocorrecting after I typed it correctly. But, I'm just passionate about the MCU, man. That's all it is. I just want to be more accurate about the events. But I do see your points on certain things when it came to the film. I see what you was going at. But, I think the film was still good overall. It did have some woke ass shit in there. I will agree to that. But I think overall, with everything he had to deal with, I think he did an amazing job.
He had to deal with a lot. So I'm not. This is not an attack at Coogler, but all I'm saying is the woke thing. Yeah, is problematic. As well as Shuri's character has always been corny, for lack of a better word, in the sense that when she did those jokes, like what are those? That was kind of corny, and the movie was full of that. Which, made it real just like... I
actually don't think they made as many jokes as I thought. I think they took it way more serious. It basically did what Love and Thunder should have been. Love and Thunder should have been more of a grim, like, hopeless type of film with Gore the Godslayer. I just wish they took this type of atmosphere from Wakanda Forever, brought that over to Thor, and that movie would have been so much better. And also to Multiverse of Madness. But yeah, that's all I was really... going back and forth with you on was just like how the film was and everything. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Peace. All right. Well, with that, I want to thank the Cash App Super Chats, managers and moderators, people listening silently, those participating in the chat. Hit that like button on your way out. GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.